Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is, and I hope you either go out by yourself or bring your family or friends or your dog. Yeah, bring somebody with you if you can, but if not, don't let that stop you. I've done this my whole life since a really young age, going out in the middle of nowhere by myself with nobody around. And if I can do it, you can too. So put all the excuses, leave those behind. And anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight. And that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, you could give my videos a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by and say, "Hi, Starlight," by leaving me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you could share my videos with your friends, your family, a mountain lion, or an eagle. Plus, you can check out my playlist, and you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So, all right, here we go. So, yes, out here, this is Starlight's first time doing this, this trail here. So today's video, or actually like tonight's video, it's you and you and you and you and you can have fun without the drugs and alcohol. Yes, a lot of people, and Starlight, I have fun with myself all the time, so it's so easy for Starlight to entertain herself. I don't need drugs, I don't need alcohol, I don't need to go out to the bar to have fun. And it's funny because the other day it I kind of blew some women's mind, especially one, because she didn't know who I was at the time until later. But Starlight needed to get her laundry done the other day, and it was a while. When you start running out of certain things, it's like, okay, this is time for me to do the laundry. And so I did ask a man that had a son, and I was asking if they could possibly help me out because I was on this journey and I have a YouTube channel, and said, "Oh, I would love to help you out, but my wife is in the store and she's got all the money." But so I didn't know where, what store or anything. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go and ask other people to see if anybody could help me out with laundry money so I can get my laundry done. And I am as happy as can be. I'm like, doo doo doo. Starlight was so happy. Even though I didn't, I am rich and I'm abundant, but, I didn't have the cash, to take care of my laundry. And it's something how the universe helped me really quick, helped me with money so I can do my laundry. And so I did receive money, and I was going into the Dollar Tree store so I can get some extra laundry soap to do my laundry. And there is this song in the Dollar Tree, and Starlight has not listened to any radio music in a long time, but they had some music that Starlight was familiar with, and I haven't danced in a long time, or sung out in public in a long time because of the locations that I've been where I could not do that at those places. But so they had this song, which some of you might be familiar with it, and I don't know who sings it. Just I know what the title is Freak Out. So yeah, so I never did this before, but Starlight was dancing around at the laundromat, dancing to Freak Out, and I was just having a ball. I didn't care what anybody thought. I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I was going all the way in the back of the aisles where the laundry soap and all the cleaning chemicals are, and there was a lady all the way in the back, and I was just having fun, and she smiled, and Starlight was out there dancing with her laundry soap. you know, um, how many of you would be so happy when, you're rich and you're abundant, but you need money for your laundry, and you're dancing around, and I wasn't on drugs or alcohol. So I let the lady know that was way in the back, because I told her her outfit looked really beautiful on her because she was all wearing pink. And I said, oh yeah, I said, you can have fun without, I said, I'm out here doing this. And I said, I'm not on drugs. I'm not on alcohol. You can have fun in life without drugs and alcohol. And then another lady came behind me, which was, I believe, older than Starlight. And she just smiled. She really loved my energy. And she says, yes, I agree. You don't have to have drugs or alcohol to have fun. And Starlight was just, I am the life of the party. Starlight doesn't want any alcohol or drugs, but Starlight is the life of the party. And I didn't realize it, so I got out and I had the money, for laundry, so I was going to go do my laundry. And the man that I asked earlier that said that his wife was in the store, him and his son came up to me and they said the son had $20, and the little boy, he was reaching out to give me $20, and Starlight is an honest person. And I'm like, oh, I said, that is so sweet, but I actually went out and I did get money. And so, I really don't need that because, somebody did help me out and gave me money. And they insisted for Starlight to take it. So I'm like, wow, thank you so much. And because I really needed it, I needed to get minutes for my phone. So, so anyway, I go in the laundromat and I meet his wife, and she goes, oh my, that's the lady that was dancing in the Dollar Tree. And I was like, oh my. So, so she's seeing Starlight dancing around in the store. And she just perked right up when she saw Starlight. And I said, did you hear what I said in the store? She's like, no. And I said to the other ladies in the store, I said, you don't need drugs or alcohol to have fun. And she's like, wow, yeah, you're right. You don't need drugs and alcohol to have fun. But you know what? The way this world is, the way this society is, and my heart goes out to these teenagers, They start off, every generation, and different kids, they they end up getting mixed up with the wrong kind of people. And people, that are older, that have already lived some time here on planet Earth, somebody is out there that's got to introduce them to drugs and alcohol. Or these children, these teenagers, end up sneaking it at home, stealing stuff from their parents, even though the parents should have those things locked up. And a lot of times, though, kids are wearing a mask just like the parents are, So, we're, the children, just like all of us, guess when we start learning how to act? We learn how to act right away when we're, after we get born, once, after the baby ends up getting big enough, and when they start crying, and then they learn really quick, especially if it's the first child that the parents had, they learn really quick is like, oh, if I cry, I get what I want, so mommy or daddy will come to me, and I just want some attention, and I just want some love. And so they learn at a really young age is to start acting. So they learn, like, I want attention now, nobody's here, and the parents could be busy, so really, that's what happens, is that we start learning how to act at a very young age. And so some of you might not understand how you're wearing a mask, but these teenagers, it's really sad, is that they go through their life, with bad examples at home, or even relatives, or even the parents' friends, or even their friends' parents, or their friends, or other people. And and then they end up thinking that the only way you can have fun is to have drugs and alcohol, and it ruins so many of their lives, even adults, to think that's the only way. I'll just zoom this in here. Starlight has never been here, so I know, but just looking for mountain lions out here. Mountain lions, that would so anyway, yeah. So if you're a person that thinks that the only way you can have fun is to, I don't know what your drug is, I don't know what your drink is, or, even smoking cigarettes, but you know what? Starlight used to do it, and I can have so much fun by myself without drugs and alcohol. It's silly. And a lot of times what it is that people are not aware of this. Some people might be aware of this, but like some of you have heard this throughout your life, is like people that drink or smoke, it's a way of an escape. And I had a hard time understanding that, even when I smoked marijuana or drank my alcohol, but the more I thought about it, it is right. It got me to kind of forget all about my problems for those moments. Sometimes though, it has a really bad side effect, like alcohol, or like marijuana and other drugs. I'm not sure about other drugs, but I know marijuana there's times definitely you don't want to smoke marijuana. It's like when you are having problems, at least Starlight's experience, that's not the time to smoke, because it really keeps you trapped into the problem, and it makes matters worse, because then your imagination and everything goes crazy at that point. And it's just not the right time to even smoke marijuana, is when you're in the middle of problems, and you think, oh, I'll just smoke some marijuana here, and that's gonna relax my nerves. Oh boy, I'll tell you what, I don't know about you if you smoke marijuana, but it backfires so bad. And then now I'm stoned, not now, but in the past, when I had some horrible, things, some anxiety going on, something, that happened maybe with a family or somebody I knew, and then thinking, oh yeah, I just need to relax and smoke some marijuana to calm my nerves. Now I tripled the problem by getting high. Now that thing that seemed like a big problem, now I doubled it, because now I am, smoking marijuana. And a lot of times what it is that if people, I know you're getting tired of Starlight saying this, but you're going to hear this anyway. And the reason I repeat these things is because it's that important. Just like in the Bible, there's things that are repeated because it's that important. And it goes the opposite when it goes to the news and the media and the people that are running the world. They repeat stuff to keep you at a low frequency and a low vibration, to brainwash you, to keep you down and keep you out. Where, if we would just learn to love ourselves and do the inner work, you would realize, what? I don't need drugs and alcohol to have fun. I can have fun, where you wouldn't even need other people that could be bad influences in your life, because you're learning how to love yourself. You're learning to accept yourself. And it is so important to understand that, really, if you learn how important it is to do the inner work and forgive yourself and stop being so hard on yourself. A lot of people in the world, they think they're fine. They think they're fine. I don't need any help. I do. I have family or people that I know, their pride got in the way. Their pride got in the way. They're too prideful to admit that they actually need help. And so they walk around in life, but deep, 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 deep down inside, guess what? They're scared. They are scared. And they don't know where to go to. They don't know where to run. They don't know where to get help. But isn't this so beautiful here? So, and then that's what they do, is they, it ends up being a habit of turning to alcohol or drugs all the time. And just like alcohol, same shit with marijuana is, when you drink alcohol, Starlight never went through this. I did drink alcohol in my life. I've gotten drunk when I was younger. But as I gotten older, I didn't really get drunk. But I've witnessed a lot of shit in my life about other people who ended up drinking alcohol, and it doubled their problems in their life. That's why when you go to the liquor store, they have it wine and spirits, and there's a big reason why they call it that. Because you could have hang on, I gotta do, is that you could have a lot of problems going on in your life, and you get in a habit of going out to, and that's what it is. You get a habit, and then it is a way of escape. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna drink the alcohol, and before you know it, the alcohol tastes better and better every time that you take, whatever your drink is, like mixed drinks or wine or beer. And I'll tell you what, especially it says liquor will get you there quicker. You bet your ass it will get you there quicker. Or even guzzling beer down. Starlight, oof. So that's how Starlight got drunk before, is it was really hot out and Starlight really guzzled that down. I actually playing quarters, that's get you there quicker. And things are not so cool when you guzzled it down or had a strong drink, too many strong drinks. So you don't really have to, this is the thing, is if you be honest with yourself and say, my life is a mess, I'm not happy in a relationship, I'm having problems with my family, this is going on, that is going on. I don't know what to do. I don't know what direction to go. It's that you really need help. You need to understand is that this matrix has been programmed to get you to follow the crowd and to get lost and to even lose who you think you are, to get you to forget who you are and why you're here. And that is why it's so important that, you don't need alcohol or drugs to have fun in life. And that's why some people, I made a video and I thought, wow, this is a very powerful video. I got messages. Somebody asked, they needed help about quitting marijuana. But you know what? Some people, they can't handle the truth. They might want to break free from the drugs, but they're not willing to let go of their friends to do it. They're holding on to people that is tripping them up. And they get themselves stuck because they're not willing to do that work. They're not willing. They think that they need that person in their lives when only that person is really, they don't even realize that person's tripping them up. And so you don't need alcohol or drugs to have fun in life. What you need is to find out who you are and do the inner work. And that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I've been doing this. I've been working on myself my whole life. I needed to. If you knew my past, I needed to. I couldn't ignore that shit. I couldn't just sit there and like, hey, I'm fine, when I know I'm not fine. I know I wasn't fine, So a lot of people, that's what they think, because the way society is, you know, society has taught us that don't let people really know that you're having a problem. It's about being fake. It's about covering it up. It's about hiding it. And, even the military has done that with their people that they say they love and are there to help. Because I met a military lady that really had some problems, because of being in the military and her own, who knows, her own past. And she said that she needed help, and she talked to the people through the military, and they told her there was nothing wrong with her. They acted like there was nothing wrong with her. She didn't need to go get help, but she knew she needed help. She wasn't dealing with shit right. She had a big, huge mess going on. She was involved with her husband passed away because of a motorcycle accident. She ended up going with her husband's best friend, and then he had kids and she had kids, and they got together, and they had special needs kids, and they couldn't get any help for those kids. And she was going through a lot in her life, losing her husband and everything all at once. So people need to love themselves enough to go get the help that they need, instead of letting society program them and make them believe that they don't need any help, that they're fine. Fine is not good enough. Fine is not going to get you through. When you don't have to turn to the alcohol or drugs anymore, now you're dealing with yourself. You're dealing with you're not running away. You're not trying to act like, that there's nothing wrong by having an escape plan, by getting wasted or having a high. So it's so important that you understand that drugs and alcohol are not the way. It's okay that you do it, but don't let those things control you. And to be honest and be real with yourself. How are you really? How's your family? How's your husband and wife? How's your relationship with your family? How's your relationship with your friends? How's your work? How's the place that you live? Are you even having time to spend with yourself? Are you even having time to be able to get out in nature? Or have you been just like so many in the world, where they followed the crowd and they do what everybody else is doing, not knowing following the crowd is the way to destruction. So it is so important that that you do get the kind of help that you need. And yeah, what? Health is wealth. So by going out and spending money, instead of spending money on the alcohol and drugs or both, take that money and go get help. Have somebody that you can trust, that you can talk to, that's not going to judge you and control you and, tell you to, give you the wrong kind of advice, because Starlight went through that many times all through her life. Talk to the wrong people, get the wrong kind of advice. They told me what they thought I needed, but it wasn't what I needed. So it is so important that you understand is that you don't want to use alcohol or drugs as a crutch, as a way of just kind of blanking out on everything that's going wrong in your life. Because you know what? The next morning, guess what? If you don't take care of the shit that you got going on in your life, the next morning, when you wake up, the shit is still there. The mess is still there. And it doesn't get better by you just ignoring it and not taking care of the stuff. just like laundry or dishes or anything in life. You know, the more we let that shit pile up, the bigger the problem gets. And the problem with that is that, you know, now you got this buildup in your heart space and your body that, you're in a dangerous situation, because that's when people hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. And that's when people end up turning to alcohol or drugs, especially not so much marijuana, but like alcohol or other drugs could go against, could turn on you really quick if you overdrink, get with the wrong people. And, there's people that hang out with people and they like to drink. And there's times that you got people, maybe friends or family, might have a birthday party. Yeah, let's have a birthday party, or this party, or that party, or this party. Let's go to the bar. And, there's people that will get you to drink, drink those drinks really fast. And it could be your friend even buying extra drinks for you, trying to get you drunk. And so does in that in life that you be careful, because when you're not really taking care of the problem that is really at hand with your life and your friends or your family, and then you go out and drink alcohol, and that pile of problems is adding up, and you could end up hurting somebody that you really love and care for. And Starlight has gone through that many times in her life, is being with men, not knowing their history, not knowing anything really about them, the secrets that they hold. And I, I, I can't count how many times I've had a man that overdrinked, blacked out, and, they end up hurting people that they're in relationships with. And that is what you don't want to happen. You want to take care of that pile, those problems that are adding up, maybe from childhood, traumas or relationship issues or jobs or people and life in general, is that you gotta really stop pretending that your life is okay when you know it's not. So you don't need drugs and alcohol. Starlight has no issue, I gave up marijuana a while back, more than a year now, and you know what? Now I don't even, I have no need for that stuff. And alcohol, I gave that up even longer than marijuana. You know, I've been working on myself all this time. I got help. I went to go look for help on YouTube. Besides that, before that, years ago, I was seeing a therapist. Somebody to talk to, somebody to open up and get to say whatever I freaking want to say, not to hold back. I can, So it is so important that, that you do get help, because if you always got to turn to alcohol, and like I said, you got to be careful. You might have friends or family that they're always pushing you to drink more, party more, and, your friends or your family, they could probably, they're the ones that probably need help too. So they're, they could be helping you in a not such a good way, is by getting you to drink more or faster or even stronger drinks, and sometimes you forget when you're drinking, you forget, how many did I already have? What is my number of drinks that I can handle? Because you don't want to take, your frustrations, from your childhood or throughout your life, and that big old pile, that big old mountain that you haven't taken care of, because society acts like you're okay, you're good, you don't you don't need help, you got this. But you don't freaking have it, you don't got it, you never did. You're just going from day to day, just going to work, being a slave, not even having ever time to actually sit alone with yourself and really say, you know what, I need to do something, because this is getting kind of a mess. It's kind of not really feeling comfortable anymore by sitting in this big pile of mess that I have here. And it is scary. You don't want to hurt the ones that you love because you didn't take time to get the help that you need. So anyway, I love you. You don't need drugs and alcohol to have fun, but you do need help. You need to, find somebody, and especially if I'm talking to you, and that things are kind of, it's not comfortable. And, when it's like being in an elevator where the walls are closing in on you, it's a scary feeling of thinking, I got to do something, and because you could hurt somebody that you really love. And alcohol is really, no matter even the other drugs, harder drugs are not good because, people end up doing crazy things like drinking and driving, so you don't need it. If you really want to quit, I heard a guy not too long ago, he had actually a sister that was on some hard drugs, and she wanted to quit. She knew it was not bad, not good, the drugs that she was under, and she quit. She cleaned up her ass, but there's some people, they gotta look in the mirror and say, what's more important, my drugs or my life? So I love you. You could give this video a thumbs up. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, whoop, you can leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you could share these videos with your family, your friends. If you got somebody out there that is struggling, that, you always see them, what are they doing? Every time they got a time off. I knew people like this, is that every night when they get off, they got to drink or smoke or both. Every time they get a chance to get some time off. Some people ended up getting so bad that they had to go to work and they had to sneak their drink and smoke their marijuana, even at their workplace, where it could mess them up, where if they get caught, they could lose their job, and get fired, and then it doesn't look good on a resume, right? So if you know somebody that is struggling and that is dealing with these kind of things, send them this message. Send them, hey, check this Starlight chick, because really, if you are happy with who you are and you love yourself, you realize, you know what? I don't need the drugs. I don't need the alcohol. I love myself enough that I can have fun. It's a natural high. And that's what Starlight was doing the other day. I had women that was like, hey, I want some of what she's got. Guess what? It's not drugs or alcohol. It's because I love myself. I've been getting healed. I've been working on myself for years, like my whole life, but really since 2016, that's when my walls were caving in. I knew, man, if I don't freaking do something now, it's my life on the line. What am I, is that fair for my grandkids to see their grandma not around anymore because I didn't do what I should do by going out and getting the help that I needed? So I love you so much. And woohoo, mosquitoes, they are biting. They're hungry. Yeah. Starlight, they're like, I don't know, they like Starlight's blood out here. So anyway, I love you. And you can also check out my playlist and follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I love you all. When you do the inner healing, you'll find out, you know what? I wasted a lot of money. I wasted a lot of time on alcohol and drugs, and wasting my time with people that really didn't care. They were just helping me to stay there. So realize that those people that are partying with you, they probably have shit that they got to clean up too. And, they need help. So I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.